Hey there, and welcome to Juicy Celeb Talks. The tragic end of Marvin Gaye April 1st is often recognized as April Fool's Day, a day when people commonly play pranks and spread false news. So when the news broke on April 1st, 1984, that singer Marvin Gaye had been shot dead by his own father, some initially dismissed it as a tasteless joke. The tragic event occurred just one day before what would have been Gaye's 45th birthday. While the history of popular music is marked by the untimely deaths of many stars due to excesses and accidents, the idea that an artist could be killed by their own father was beyond belief. Marvin Gaye was shot and killed on Sunday in Los Angeles, reportedly during a family argument. Adding to the disbelief was the seemingly trivial cause of the tragedy, a dispute between Marvin Gaye's parents over insurance papers in their Los Angeles home. Influenced by drugs and alcohol, Gaye physically attacked his father. In response, his father used a gun that Marvin had given him months earlier, shooting his son twice. The first bullet, which went straight through his heart, was fatal. A jury later excused Marvin Gaye Sr. on the grounds of self-defense. Following the incident, his wife, Alberta Cooper, immediately filed for divorce. Marvin Gaye Sr. died from pneumonia in a nursing home in 1998 at the age of 84. For those familiar with Marvin Gaye's tumultuous career and personal struggles, the tragic end, while shocking, was not entirely unexpected. Gaye's allure and his body of work, characterized by humanism and a range of love songs from the deeply spiritual to the sensually explicit, stood in stark contrast to his tortured life. His life was heavily burdened by his tempestuous relationship with his father, the very man who ultimately took his life. Marvin Gaye Sr. was a preacher in the House of God, a conservative Christian sect that combined elements of Pentecostalism and Orthodox Judaism, enforcing strict codes of conduct. Despite this, he was indulgent toward himself. Family members recalled him as an alcoholic with a propensity for extramarital affairs. Gaye's childhood and adolescence were marred by his father's cruelty and domestic violence, contributing to the artist's lifelong struggles. This explains Marvin's persistent preoccupation with his sexuality, which he carried with a great sense of guilt, explains music critic L.S. Lapointe. It has been suggested that the young Marvin changed his original family name due to relentless bullying from other children, who often subjected him to homophobic slurs. Another more romanticized story claims he adopted Gaye to emulate his idol, Sam Cooke, who had also altered his last name. In her memoir, My Brother Marvin, Gaye's sister Zeola recounts that their father used to wear women's clothes at home, an experience that haunted and traumatized the singer even in the midst of his peak success. Marvin Gaye rarely found solace in his fame and wrestled with numerous contradictions. While he was a prominent advocate for civil rights, he found himself in self-imposed exile in London and Ostend, Belgium, during the early 1980s due to his struggles with the U.S. tax authorities. During this period, he battled with excessive drug use, pornography addiction, and a paranoid mindset that led him to believe in a conspiracy to kill him. Consequently, he often wore bulletproof vests as a precaution. Ironically, it was this paranoia that led him to gift his father the .38 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol that was ultimately used to end his life. Rather than for his own protection, he wanted his father to have it as a means to make the old man suffer. But where did it all begin? On April 2, Marvin Pence Gaye Jr. was born to Alberta and Marvin Pence Gaye Sr. in Washington, D.C., at Freedman's Hospital. Marvin grew up with his parents, older sister Jeannie, younger brother Frankie, and younger sister Zeola, in a segregated, impoverished urban area of southwest D.C. The Gays maintained a strict religious household where many pleasures like TV, movies, and dancing were forbidden. Marvin's father, a minister, used both physical and mental discipline to train his children, especially Marvin, who provoked his father to get any attention he could. Marvin's mother supported the family through teaching and domestic work. Marvin loved his mother dearly because she was there to protect him and encourage him, and just about everything she told him, he believed he would be a great star one day. Marvin accompanied his father to religious gatherings and began singing, performing, and playing instruments as early as 3 years old. Marvin became a member of the D.C. Tones, a doo-wop group, in October. He dropped out of high school and enlisted in the Air Force the following June. Marvin was discharged from the Air Force and returned to D.C., where he joined another doo-wop group, the Marquis.
During this time, Marvin met Harvey Fuqua, and the Marquis eventually merged with Fuqua's group, the Moonglows. Seeking to hone his skills, Marvin moved to Chicago, immersing himself in the professional and technical aspects of music. However, his experience on the road with fellow musicians also introduced him to drug experimentation. In the same year, Marvin demonstrated his vocal ability by singing lead on Mama Lucy, his first recording as a lead vocalist. Fuqua, recognizing Marvin's talent, moved with him to Detroit and secured a deal for him with Gwen Gordy's label, Anna Records, a subsidiary of Motown. Despite his signing, Marvin's role initially revolved around drumming and piano sessions for Anna Records' various artists, notably contributing to the Marvelettes' hit record Please, Mr. Postman. Simultaneously, Marvin began courting Anna Gordy. In December, he met Berry Gordy at a Christmas party and inked a deal with Tamla. He came over and said, "I like that song." Marvin made a significant step by legally changing his name to Gaye, adding the final E, partly to distinguish himself from his father's name, counter rumors about his sexuality, and emulate his idol, Sam Cooke. By May, Marvin had released his debut single on Tamla, featuring Let Your Conscience Be Your Guide on the A-side and Never Let You Go on the B-side. Despite struggling with adjusting to regimentation and authority, Marvin's debut album, The Soulful Moods of Marvin Gaye, was released in October. Marvin joined the first Motown Revue for a 2-month U.S. tour, where he shared the stage with his peers. Despite receiving minimal direction from Motown's creative director, Marvin notably heeded advice against performing with closed eyes. By December, Stubborn Kind of Fellow, a track reflecting Marvin's personality, hit the airwaves, climbing to number 8 on the R&B charts and number 46 on the pop charts. Tracks like Hitchhike and Pride and Joy further solidified Marvin's early commercial success. In a highly productive year, Marvin achieved remarkable success with 4 hits, 2 of which were collaborations with Tammy Terrell, soaring into the top 10 charts in the U.S. One of these hits, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, marked Marvin's first #1 pop single, selling nearly 4 million copies and reigning at the top of the charts for 7 consecutive weeks. In January, the single What's Going On hit the charts and quickly became Motown's fastest-selling recording, going gold.
By spring, Marvin had embarked on recording the groundbreaking album What's Going On. Upon its release in May, the album enjoyed immediate success, selling 500,000 copies on its first day and securing the number 6 spot on the U.S. charts. Time magazine later hailed it as one of the top 10 albums of the year. Marvin's artistic talent earned him accolades from the NAACP and record world, cementing his reputation as a serious musician. He leveraged his newfound influence to advocate for artistic freedom for recording artists. However, Marvin's success was tempered by personal struggles. His tour was marred by physical exhaustion, and paranoia strained his relationship with Janice, prompting her to move their children to her mother's home while Marvin sought refuge with his mother. Despite his efforts to escape his troubles, Motown rejected his new album, Love Man, prompting Marvin to retreat to Hawaii in a bid to get away from his problems. He wanted to do the impossible, and that was part of the reason for his whole feeling of being divided within himself. Yet, in all these successful years, Gaye's relationship with his father remained strained to the extent that his father became responsible for his son's death. The turbulent connection between the singer and his cross-dressing minister father, Marvin Sr., ended tragically. Marvin Sr., known for his frequent beatings, starvation of his children, and violence towards his wife, represented the dark side of their relationship. Despite this, Marvin Gaye, the Motown legend, was hailed for soothing the masses with his radiant voice and divine creativity, according to music critic Michael Eric Dyson. However, behind the soothing tunes lay a man burdened with immense pain. Marvin Gaye's misery stemmed primarily from his turbulent relationship with his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., a man who openly despised his son's existence and inflicted his rage upon him, especially in his volatile alcoholic state. Despite enduring a childhood marred by abuse, Marvin Gaye rose to become a celebrated soul singer under Motown Records during the 1960s and 1970s. However, by the 1980s, struggling with addiction and financial woes, he returned to live with his parents in Los Angeles. A friend once said of Gaye, he wanted everything to be perfect. I think his only true joy was in his music. It was music that united a troubled soul. Gaye Sr. ended his son's life with a gun Marvin had given him as a present months earlier. Tragically, Marvin Gaye's mother, Alberta, witnessed the horrific scene of her husband pointing a gun at their son in their home. The impact of Marvin's death was profound, especially for his sister Zeola, who had witnessed the deep affection their mother held for Marvin. The pain and suffering Marvin endured ultimately overshadowed his remarkable contributions to music and his advocacy for social change. In the aftermath, Marvin Gaye Sr. faced legal consequences but was ultimately excused by a jury on the grounds of self-defense. The tragic and complex life of Marvin Gaye serves as a reminder of the profound impact of familial relationships and the enduring legacy of his music. Despite his struggles, Marvin Gaye's artistry and commitment to social change continue to inspire and resonate with audiences worldwide.